On September 17, the royal princess docked in Greenock, Scotland, and we decided to take the shore excursion to Edinburgh to tour Edinburgh Castle, perched at the top of the Royal Mile for over a millennium. The large flat area in front of the castle's gatehouse was built in 1753 as a parade ground for resident troops. It reached its present-day appearance by 1820 and is used every year as an outdoor stage for the military tattoo. Monuments situated on the north of the esplanade include the statue of Frederick, Duke of York. Making history, Edinburgh Castle stands on a craggy volcanic rock that has been a place of refuge and a symbol of power for at least 3,000 years. The panels to follow tell 9 chapters in its remarkable story, starting with the arrival of the Romans and ending with the rediscovery of the honours of Scotland in 1818. 1st century AD, high and mighty, tribal leaders exchanged gifts with the Romans in their hilltop stronghold. Local people built a great hill fort here as a defendable home and symbol of strength. Shrewd diplomacy may have helped them avoid conflict with the Roman army. About 600 AD, last orders. Legendary warriors left the hill fort to die in the battle in England. 300 heroes rode to their doom after a year drinking in a hole on the castle rock. About 1140, great and good, Scotland's leaders are ordered to assemble at King David's Castle. The nation's most powerful men gathered at Edinburgh Castle to enact laws and pass judgments. David I's first recorded assembly of nobles and clergy here was a precursor to today's parliament. 1314, fighting for freedom. Scottish soldiers scaled the rock to retake the castle from the English. A small force of men loyal to King Robert the Bruce climbed the northern rock face in a night attack that overwhelmed the English defenders. The castle repeatedly changed hands during the Wars of Independence. 1457, the Big Gun. Crowds watched the arrival of the giant bombard Mons Meg. The addition of this fearsome cannon to the arsenal of King James II declared Scotland to be a strong and confident kingdom. The weapon was a gift from the Duke of Burgundy and was kept safe in the castle. 1566, birth of a king. The first king of both Scotland and England is born. When Mary, Queen of Scots, was forced to abdicate in 1567, her only child became James VI of Scotland. In 1603, he inherited the English throne as James I, moved to England and returned to Scotland only once. 1573, reduced to rubble. Cannons smash the medieval defences in the Lang Siege. Government forces besieged the castle for more than a year after the garrison declared support for the overthrown Mary, Queen of Scots. The defenders surrendered after enduring intensive cannon fire. 1745, urban warfare. The castle's guns fire on Edinburgh during the Jacobite Rising. The garrison opened up on the city to drive out Jacobite soldiers who wanted to return a Stuart king to the throne. The castle remained in government hands, and its cannons were never fired in anger again. 1818, National Treasure. The honours of Scotland are rediscovered. The state crown, sword and sceptre were found in a secure vault by Sir Walter Scott. His books and poems nurtured a passion for Scotland's heritage, while his discovery helped turn the castle into a tourist attraction. The castle's position on the volcanic rock offered protection from all sides with steep, rocky faces, but the gatehouse, which faced the sloping town, the Royal Mile, was the most vulnerable point to attack. However, the gatehouse, an impressive main entrance into the castle, was built not so much as an additional defense, but rather for aesthetic reasons. It replaced a simple functional gate which was built in the late 17th century. Flanking the main arched entrance stand bronze statues of two of Scotland's hero freedom fighters, Robert the Bruce and William Wallace, added in 1929. At either side of the drawbridge leading to the gatehouse is a dry ditch, which dates from Oliver Cromwell times, 1650s. This gate was constructed after the Lang siege of 1571-1573. Built on the ruined 14th century Constable's Tower, the portcullis gate acted as a formidable obstacle to any would-be attackers. It has two heavy outer doors, the portcullis itself, and another heavy inner door. This was the main access to the summit of the Castle Rock in the Middle Ages. The more gradual ascent of the present road was created in the 15th century to improve the passage of heavy guns into the castle. Fook's Gate. This was the principal gate to the upper ward. The origin of the name and date of its construction are unknown. The perimeter wall on either side was built during King Charles II's reign, 1649-85, to bolster the castle's defenses. There are two independent regimental museums here, the Royal Scot Dragoon Guards Museum in the new barracks and the Royal Scots Museum in the drill hall opposite. They tell the story of two of Scotland's oldest regiments. This little garden in the castle may have been built in the remains of a medieval tower. It has been used as the burial ground for officers' pet dogs and regimental mascots since 1840s. The cart sheds were built immediately after the Jacobite uprising. They were originally used to house up to 50 carts for transporting provisions to the garrisons from suppliers in the town. The 1 o'clock gun is fired every day except Sunday at precisely 13 hours, allowing citizens and visitors to check their clocks and watches. The origin of the tradition lies in the days when sailing ships were able to check and reset their chronometers before accurate timepieces were available. Although the gun is no longer required for its original purpose, it has become a popular tourist attraction. This 6-gun battery, together with Mills Mount Battery and the low defenses below it, were the main northern defense of the castle. It was rebuilt in 1730s, and each turret houses a cast-iron, muzzle-loading 18-pound gun made during the Napoleonic Wars about 1810. Mons Meg is one of 2 surviving bombard guns presented to King James II by his uncle by marriage, Philip the Good, Duke of Burgundy, in 1457. The name Mons comes from where they were made, Mons, which is in present-day Belgium. The 6-ton muzzle-loading cannon is capable of firing gunstones weighing 150 kilograms, nearly 2 miles. Mons Meg was last fired in 1681. St. Margaret's Chapel is the oldest surviving building in Edinburgh. This serene chapel was built by David I in about 1130 as a private place of worship for the royal family. The king dedicated the chapel to his saintly mother, Queen Margaret. Its decorated chancel arch is part of the original structure, although other features such as the stained glass windows are more recent. The chapel is still used for christenings and weddings. This battery is a continuation of the Half Moon Battery and defends the eastern end of the castle. Rebuilt in 1544 and then heightened in 1573 after the Lang siege. It was reconstructed further in the 17th century and is now armed with 6 iron guns made during the Napoleonic Wars about 1810. Then we headed towards Crown Square. Crown Square served as the main courtyard for the castle. It dates from the 15th century and was built on the south-facing slopes of Castle Rock. The square is built on an artificial platform above a series of great stone vaults. It was originally known as Palace Yard, but was renamed after the discovery of the Scottish crown jewels in 1818. The palace was the official royal residence of the later Stuart kings and queens. Mary Queen of Scots gave birth to the future king James VI and First of England on 19th June 1566 in a small chamber room known as Queen Mary's Room. The palace took a battering during the Lang siege, but in 1617 it was remodeled inside and out to its present stage for King James VI's homecoming from London, his only visit back to Scotland. The palace is home to the honours or regalia of Scotland, the Scottish crown jewels, which are on display in the crown room along with the Stone of Destiny, Scotland's coronation stone, which was returned to Scotland in 1996. The Great Hall was built before the death of King James IV in 1513. It served as the main hall for state assembly in the castle. During Cromwell's occupation in the 1650s, the hall was converted into soldiers' barracks and was altered in 1737 to accommodate 312 men. With the building of the new barracks at the end of the 1700s, the Great Hall was converted into a hospital until 1887, when it was fancifully restored to the way it looks today. This building was opened on 14th July 1927 as a memorial to the Scottish dead on the First World War, 1914-1918, by the Prince of Wales, later King Edward VIII. In the Middle Ages, St. Mary's Church stood on this site. In 1540 it was converted into a munition house, then demolished in 1755 to make room for the North Barracks. The building was improved in 1863 by Robert Billings to give it a more picturesque appearance. The army vacated the building in 1923, and Sir Robert Lorimer adapted it as the national shrine. The building also commemorates the men who fell in the Second World War, 1939-1945. Unfortunately, we had only 2 hours to explore the castle, but we enjoyed every minute of it. Then it was time to move on down Castle Hill towards the Royal Mile.